Hey guys, this is Abhishek from gadgetsnews.com, and today we are going to do a quick hands-on comparison of the Micromax Canvas Turbo with Zen Ultrafone 701 full high definition phone. This is the Zen Ultrafone Amaze, and which is a upgrade to the previous Zen Ultrafone 701 full high, the semi high definition phone which we have seen earlier. So we are going to compare both of these devices in terms of the overall hardware. And before we start the comparison, I would like to tell you that both of them are actually powered with the same system on chip. That is, you have the same MediaTek 6589 processor on both of these phones that is clocked at 1.5 GHz, and you have 2 GB of RAM on the Canvas Turbo, whereas you have 1 GB of RAM on this device. So we are going to compare these two devices in terms of the overall value for money, in terms of the overall hardware and the experience which we will get. Now, taking a look over these two devices from the front side, they all look almost the same. We have the same kind of design, at least on the front display. If we take a look, there are definitely some differences in terms of the design of the earpiece. You do have LED notification light on both of these phones. This one has it over here, and whereas this one has it over here. When it comes to the front camera is different. We have 5 megapixel camera on the Canvas Turbo, whereas we have 8 megapixel camera on the Zen Ultrafone 701 full FHD phone. When it comes to the display, you have same 5-inch of display on both of these phones, and the display technology is again the same, and the viewing angles on both of these phones are again good. I would say you can see the screen on any of these two devices from extreme viewing angles without any issues. When it comes to the overall brightness, the brightness is slightly looking better on this one, whereas it is almost the same on this one as well. So there is not a major difference in terms of the brightness as well as in terms of the color production. The display are again the same kind of technology which we have seen on both of these two devices. You have IPS LCD display, which is going to look good on both of these phones. In terms of the design of the earpiece, the earpiece is kind of a metallic earpiece, whereas it has got a very different design over here. You have same touch capacitive buttons on both of these phones, which are there within the body, not within the display. If we take a look over these two devices from the side profile, we can easily notice that the thickness which we have on the Zen Ultrafone 701 FHD phone is higher as compared to this device. Whereas this device has a kind of a plastic back cover with a glossy finish, and Canvas Turbo has a kind of a metallic aluminum back cover which is non-removable, whereas the back cover is removable on this device. So you can remove the battery out of this device, whereas you cannot do the same on the Canvas Turbo. As far as the camera is concerned, we have the 13 megapixel camera on both of these phones, and the overall performance of the camera is slightly better on the Canvas Turbo, which we have seen, as compared to this one. But this one is also pretty good in daylight, I would say. The LED flash, do have LED flash on both of these phones. You have a secondary camera on this device, the secondary mic on this device, which can be easily located on the Canvas Turbo, whereas we cannot locate a secondary mic on this device on the Zen Ultrafone 701 FHD. When it comes to the loudspeaker is again pretty loud on this device as compared to this one, and the placement is again at the back side on both of these phones. If we take a look over this side, we have the power and sleep key over here on this side, whereas we have the same on this side as well. We have a nice magnesium kind of a frame, an alloy frame basically, which holds the phone together, whereas on this device we also have a metallic kind of build quality. However, the frame which we see on the edge is not metallic, it is good quality of plastic, I would say, not metal. But the back side we have metal, here we have metal and here we have metal, so it is again made up of metal over here and the back side, whereas this one is again plastic in nature. Now, talking about these two phones in terms of the overall form factor, this one is slightly lighter in terms of the weight as well as thinner as well, and the overall design which we see on the back side, the curved edges, are again going to make this device much easier to hold in one hand as compared to this one. This one is slightly thicker, slightly heavier as well, and in terms of the overall form factor, this one is also pretty good because of these matte finish kind of rounded curves over here, which is again going to give you a proper grip. But we have a glossy back cover on the Zen Ultrafone 701 Amaze FHD phone, so you will get to see the fingerprints and scratches quite easily on this device as far as the back cover is concerned, whereas you will not see the same very easily on this device because you have a matte finish and a metal back cover on this device. Now, talking about the side on this device, we have the volume rocker over here on the Canvas Turbo, whereas we have the volume rocker on this side on the Zen Ultrafone Amaze. When it comes to the connectivity, as in terms of the SIM card, you do have dual SIM card support on both of these phones. We can remove the back cover on the Zen Ultrafone to insert dual SIM card, which will accept normal SIM cards on both of these slots. However, one will support 3G, whereas the other one will support a 2G connectivity. When it comes to this device, we do have SIM card slot which are over here on the edge, and again both of them will accept a micro SIM, not a normal size SIM card, unlike this one. And you do have 3G support on both of these slots, whereas the 3G is supported on this slot only, not on this slot on this device. So you can insert a micro SD memory card on the Zen Ultrafone 701 FHD, whereas you cannot insert a micro SD card on this device. You do have micro SD memory card expansion on this device, so you can expand the storage of the device, and you can also install apps directly on the SD card on this device, whereas on this device you do not see any micro SD memory card slot, so you cannot expand the storage of the device. The inbuilt storage of this device is 16 GB, and same goes with this one as well. And the available storage is again the same on both of the phones, that is around 12 to 13 GB which you will get. But on this device you will have the option of expanding the storage, whereas on this one you cannot expand the storage, so you will have to live with the limited internal storage which we have on this device. At the bottom, if we take a look, we have the 3.5mm audio jack on this device on the Canvas Turbo at the bottom, whereas it is at the top on the Zen Ultrafone. You do have micro USB port for data syncing and charging on both of these devices on the top, as you can see. And if we take a look over the bottom, we have a microphone hole over here, whereas the microphone hole over here is actually at the edge on the Zen Ultrafone 701 FHD. Taking a look over these two phones, on the software part we have the same stock Android running on both of these phones. So in terms of the overall interface, the interface is quite snappy on both of these phones. It is slightly more snappy, I would say, on the Canvas Turbo as compared to the Zen Ultrafone 701, which does show some kind of lag whenever you go across App Store or whenever you go across home screen. You will see certain amount of lag in the UI, whereas the same will not happen on this device. It is quite snappy when it comes to the overall interface in terms of the overall UI transitions and the effects. The version of Android which is running on both of these phones is again 4.2.1, and both of these phones will also get over-the-air updates as far as the future version of Android is concerned. Now on the storage part, we have 16 GB of internal storage on both of these phones, whereas we get around 11.58 GB available to the user on this device, and we also get some application usable memory as well, on which you can install applications as far as the internal storage is concerned. On this device you get around 12.46 GB available to the user, and you do get some around 1 GB of available user memory for applications only. You can install applications on this device on this memory. So in terms of the available memory, both of these phones are almost close to each other, but on this device you do have support for micro SD memory card, so you can install applications directly on the micro SD memory card. You can select the preferred install location, whereas you cannot do the same on this one. One thing which is better on the Canvas Turbo is that you get 2 GB of RAM on the Canvas Turbo, whereas you get 1 GB of RAM on Zen Ultrafone 701 FHD, out of which you get around only 269 or 275 MB of RAM free available to the user, whereas this one is using around 678 MB of RAM out of 1 GB. On this device, out of 2 GB of RAM, you get around 612 or 613 MB of RAM which is being used by the OS and applications, and you get around 1.3 GB of RAM free on this device, which is fairly large on this device as compared to the Zen Ultrafone 701 FHD. So this device is again slightly faster in terms of UI transition, but in terms of the overall performance, both of these devices are pretty good. The application day-to-day usage performance on both of these phones are again quite comparable. When it comes to the gaming performance of both of these phones is again average, because of the full high definition display on which the same GPU which we have on both of these phones, it is not able to run the high graphic intensive games very smoothly. So you will notice certain amount of UI lag and the graphic lag whenever you run graphic intensive games on both of these phones. On AnTuTu we have got a better score of 14921 on the Zen Ultrafone 701 FHD, whereas on this device we have got a score of 11308, which is slightly lesser in terms of the overall scores which we have seen on both of these phones. Now taking a look over the quadrant score which we have for both of these phones, we have got a slightly better score on the quadrant standard utility on the Zen Ultrafone 701 FHT, that is 5497, whereas we have got a score of 4733 on the Canvas Turbo, which is slightly lesser as compared to this one. Talking about the score which we have got on Ninamark, we have got a score of 33.8 FPS on the Canvas Turbo, whereas we have got a score of 26.6 FPS on Zen Ultrafone 701 FHT. So in terms of the overall gaming performance, both of these phones are almost the same because they can play casual games pretty fine without any issues, whereas the high graphic intensive games, because of the full high definition resolution which we have on both of these phones, does not run very smoothly because of the GPU which we have on these two phones, that is the same GPU, that is PowerVR STX 544MP, is not that much capable of rendering the graphics very smoothly on the full high definition display. So the gaming performance on both of these phones is almost the same. However, the 2GB of RAM on this device does make a little difference whenever you play some graphic intensive games on the Canvas Turbo as compared to the Zen Ultrafone 701 FHT, because you will get slightly better gaming performance on this device, but the game's graphics will lag on both of these phones. Now, one thing which is good on the Canvas Turbo is that you have 10-point multi-touch, so all those applications which does require 10-point multi-touch will run on this device as compared to the 5-point multi-touch which we have on Zen Ultrafone 701 FHT. Those applications which definitely requires 10-point multi-touch will not run on this device, whereas they can run on this device on the Canvas Turbo. Finally, to conclude our comparison in between these two phones, I would like to point out some of the differences which does make a difference. That is, you get a micro SD memory card slot on the Zen Ultrafone 701 FHT, whereas you do not get the same on this device. You have the option of expanding the storage on this device with the help of micro SD memory card, and you can also install application directly on the micro SD memory card in case you want to. Second major difference in between these two phones is that this is a unibody phone in which the battery cannot be removed. So the back cover cannot be removed on the Micromax Canvas Turbo, whereas it can be removed on this device. So you can remove the battery and replace it in case you occur any issues on this device while using the device. When it comes to the camera performance, the camera is 13 megapixel as far as the back camera is concerned, which is approximately the same in terms of the overall performance as well. We get the same decent performance on both of these phones, but the overall low light performance of this device is slightly better as far as the rear camera is concerned. When it comes to the front camera, we have 5 megapixel front camera on the Canvas Turbo, whereas we have 8 megapixel camera on this device. However, the overall video quality as well as the photo quality when it comes to taking self-portrait shots is approximately the same. Even this device has the 8 megapixel camera. So in terms of the front camera performance, both of them are fairly equal. In terms of the loudspeaker loudness, the volume of sound which comes out from the loudspeaker is pretty loud on this device as compared to this one, and this one does get blocked whenever you place it like this on a table, whereas this one will get also blocked, but you will still be able to hear what is coming out from the loudspeaker as far as the sound quality is concerned, and it is again loud in terms of the overall volume as well. Another thing is that in terms of the build quality, if we talk about, we have a better build quality on the Canvas Turbo with aluminum back cover, which is again non-removable, but it is slightly good in terms of the overall finishing, I would say, and it does give you a better grip when you hold the device in one hand as compared to the Canvas Turbo, which has got a glossy texturized back cover which is going to get dirty very easily, and it will get the fingerprints and scratches quite easily. But in terms of the grip, this device is also pretty good. You can easily hold the device in one hand without any issues. So these are all the differences which we wanted to point out in between these two phones. So if memory is something which makes a major difference to you in terms of the storage, if you want the memory expansion storage on any of these two phones, you can always select the Zen Ultrafone 701 FHT. In case you want a better device with good loud speaker volume as well as good build quality, you can always select the Micromax Canvas Turbo. In terms of the overall application performance and day-to-day usage, both of these devices are fairly good, fairly okay. In terms of gaming performance, both of them are average, not too good at all on any of these two devices. So do let us know if you have any specific question for any of these two devices. We would love to help you. You can like this video if this video helped you by clicking the like button below. You can subscribe to our YouTube video channel for more videos like this by clicking the subscribe button below. Thanks for watching this video. This is Abhishek signing off. Thank you.